Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli announced the immediate start of the executive procedures to implement President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's decrees on disbursing a new social protection package, which is aimed at easing the living burdens on the citizens. The details follow.
Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli said on Thursday executive procedures had been taken to implement President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's decrees on disbursing a new social protection package. During the weekly cabinet meeting at the government's headquarters in the new administrative capital, Madbouli hailed the decisions made by President al-Sisi to implement the largest social package at a value of £180 billion starting next March. The Prime Minister said the package would focus on health and education sectors as well as pensions beneficiaries. Madbouli reiterated that all state bodies continue taking measures to provide basic commodities at suitable prices and means of controlling markets to meet citizens' needs. He expressed the government's keenness to curb the repercussions of the world economic crises and challenges which could have negative impact on the national economy. On Tuesday, President Sisi issued a number of important decrees which aimed at easing living burdens on citizens. President Sisi gave his directives to implement a quick social protection package starting next month. The package included raising the minimum wages by 50% to reach £6,000 monthly. The President also gave directives to raise salaries of state employees and economic institutions employees with a minimum ranging from £1,000 to £1,200 monthly according to the employer's degrees. President Sisi also gave his directives to raise tax exemption by 33% from £45,000 to £60,000.
Samah Shukri began an official visit to Cyprus as talks with the Cypriot President and the Foreign Minister tackled the bilateral ties, a number of regional developments, including the situation in the Gaza Strip. The details follow.
Foreign Minister Samah Shukri started an official visit to Cyprus on Thursday following an invitation by his Cypriot counterpart Konstantinos Kompos. Upon his arrival, Cypriot President Nikos Christodoulos received Minister Shukri at the presidential headquarters. Also, Shukri held talks with Kompos, which centered on means to foster bilateral ties and enhance cooperation between the two countries in various domains. The top diplomats further probed a number of regional developments, including the current deteriorating situation in the Gaza Strip. At a joint press conference, Shukri renewed Egypt's constant support to the Palestinian cause. The top diplomat said Egypt was working with all stakeholders to find a solution to end the conflict and urged the international community to apply more pressure to allow aid into Gaza. He hailed the role played by the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, in supporting Palestinian civilians. He said the human sufferings in Gaza were unthinkable and a humanitarian support system on the verge of collapsing, and the threats of a dangerous expansion of the conflict are real and unfolding. Presidential spokesman Ahmed Abu Zaid said Egypt and Cyprus enjoy historical ties and bilateral cooperation based on mutual interests and common visions, in addition to strong coordination concerning mutual challenges.
Minister of International Cooperation Rania Al-Mashot met with the acting assistant head of the American International Development Agency in Washington and director of the Middle East Bureau in Egypt, Andrew Blad. During the meeting, Al-Mashot discussed the means of enhancing the joint cooperation and boosting the Egyptian private sector. The meeting reviewed the services and finance provided by the American agency and the other investment institutions to the private sector through Hafiz, or the incentive platform. And still in Egypt, the stock market indices collectively soared, being bolstered by the purchasing operations by the Arab and foreign investors. The main EGX 30 index soared 1.81%. The small and medium EGX 70 index added 1.74%. The more expanded EGX 100 index added 1.78%. The overall transactions and dealings within the session reached £10.7 billion.